it's just 1 out of 6. But let's see though. I mean, this might be a surprise, and we don't hate to be proven wrong, especially for a team just like that, just like Gangsters. But that would if he can make it onto Revive platform or vending machine, this might be it. But the Revive onto jump made them stay alive.
Oh man, beautiful movements out of the Bass, single-handedly getting that Revive in here, still staying alive, and Diamond brings Exposi back in here. The Bass has still not gotten taken out of the equation. The full squad of Twisted Minds back in it. And they have the Bass to thank.
Definitely, the Bass is one of those who can prove that his movement couldn't be caught that quickly, and this is something really exciting. There's one reason as well why I had them on my prediction, because they can bring the aggression and also survivability. But on the other side, Gangsters right now trying to gang up against Team Falcons, trying to beat them in Riders Club, where Team Falcons often drop. And at this point, they are winning it 4-1 already. But will they be able to continue on?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Laho taken out of the equation already. Oh, I have to start calling this man LH06, bro. But that is just a mouthful, Laho. Please change your name back, man. Do the casters a favor. Gangsters up against Falcons. MBR watching this situation. And in fact, they don't want to stand watching. They want to approach slowly. Hans knocked down to the ground. Pina takes him out. In fact, they take each other out, Hans and Pina. Pina dropped down to the ground, and MBR in the battle. And with that opportune moment on the other side, they timed it perfectly, and the place where they struck was right beside the vending machine. That was a big brain play from MBR. So they instantly overtake the vending machine here at Riders Club, putting the two teams in a little bit of a pickle. Now Falcons can't get that easy revive in front of them.
Well, let's see though, if they can continue this on, isolate them one at a time, then they might be able to win this. Just stick together, and there goes what MBR is doing right.
MBR gets the info on him. Magna, on the other hand, spotting out EVOS, who have the arsenal on their side. Winchester in the hands of Coach Shield. Vice Abex backing him up alongside Aim God. EVOS without their Russia. How will they fare in Southeast Asia Fall 26? Magna will be the first ones here to show us what the firepower is like. On the side of EVOS, Coach Shield tagged up already. Great blue walls erected in the nick of time. Jan's dropping back to help him out as well. 2v2, but it looks like it's going to become a 3v2 as Abex joins them as well. Coach Shield, Aim God, the final one on his feet here. A fast 3v3 fight. And they better have a super...
Loving what Magna Esports has been doing in there. They just pushed against the isolated Coach Shield. Didn't even wait for the rest of EVOs to come in. And the moment the knockdown happened, they are all prepared for the couple of players who tries to go in that fight. But Faiz did manage to get one revive, making it 2 for the team. But it's not enough if they want to survive even further.
What did we just watch? An almost total annihilation of EVOS. And that was unexpected. That was Magna, Neptune. I would not count Magna as one of the more dominant teams in the league so far. So big question marks very early on for the Indonesian squad of EVOS. But we can perhaps chuck that to maybe they just weren't ready for that battle. Jans now. Magna up against Aki. Outnumbered here, Jans. Woodpecker in hand. Pulls out the M590 but could not do much with it. The rest of the Magna players could only watch this as it broke down.
Well, for Magna Esports, I think the intention in this gameplay is to be aggressive, because they do have a combination of Oscar, A124, Moors as well on the Time Turner. You have a disablement on the A124 coming from Jans, and then a rusher from Alif. So that's why they are aggressive in that regards. But again, there's easy to pop off, like hot on the get-go. But at some point, if they lose 1 or 2 players, that's where they falter. And hopefully they don't lose any of that, especially in the second half of this match.
Twisted Minds 2 eliminations in hand so far. They can get a couple more here if they can spot out the Falcons player who has been quick on his feet. Limit on fire taken out of the equation already. Aki and Twisted Minds doing a number on the Falcon players as Saifa finds a couple of players from the side of Gao. AJL has bumped into Gao, and it's not looking good for the Vietnamese squad. Fuwara, on the other hand, takes Pina out of the equation. Multiple bodies hitting the ground. We didn't really see many of them, but it's good to know that we've got a super active lobby net.
Yeah, I do agree. Let's see, though, if they will be able to maintain this. Second phase is about to close in less than a minute, and some squads are still hanging outside of blue. It's Battle of Thailand right now in Archway with Twisted Mind as well as Team Falcons, but with a solo mission being done by Poor, dealing with 3 is not enough.
But thankfully, the revives are quite easy. Civil war between Onyx as well as RRQ. We asked, how is Onyx going to do with their newest addition, Poom? I wonder if he's on the main lineup here for the squad. Haven't spotted him out just yet. Here comes a buy. Going for the chase there on to Gade. What a shot. The range off of the M590. Ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I mean, none of the glue faces circle. But as we look into Bloomtown, there's a lot of teams that is already chased by this blue and those who is outside. But team
Thing is, Magna took on EVOS like they were nothing, but they were the first team to get kicked out of the lobby. Cypher, easy pickup by Nameless here. AimGod not taking advantage of that situation and will get clipped. A easy 1v1 turned into a 2v1 with that pickup off of AGAL. So EVOS still hasn't recovered just yet. Boom! I was looking for him to show the aggressive version of himself. Instead, all we see is him getting laid out there on the double snipe attempt.
Oh, speaking of laid out, Demon being laid out on the floor. Great pinch being done by Gade as well as Crime. And Crime is one of those who has brought a lot of knockdowns because of his position. But we'll have to find out, though, if Demons will be able to survive this. No backup coming from the rest of Onyx. And AimGod goes for the push, almost goes for the takedown, but Demon with Mag 7, quite quick, but will be taken down because Spice has his eyes on him. Even up close or mid-range, he couldn't for that opportunity of those teams dropping as well. But what is dropping soon would be Burim Champion Bundle. And look at that bundle of backpack, glue wall, melee pan, as well as a loot box. And let's not talk about a woodpecker because that is insanely beautiful and deadly.
How much wood would woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck wood? As many wood as he could chuck. I don't know. Buriram Champion Bundle will be coming really soon, guys. So stay tuned. Don't miss it. I'm very excited. I definitely know I'll be one of the first few ones to purchase it. RRQ up against AGL. On the other hand, they'd be wishing they had that skin for the woodpecker. They wouldn't give it any extra advantage in a lobby like this, though. Double Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of Cypher, but Dudes just asked for trouble there. Cypher was like, oh, okay, you want to take down my defenses? I'll just run at you then.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't run too quick, but no! Even Rance will be taken down in there as he tries to go in for a pickup, and that's the damage that is being dealt with. As a blue will be closing in RRQ, despite of how aggressive and how well they positioned themselves in Aquarium, they were taken down by AGAL, and AGAL continues that role. But for Twisted Mind, Team Aki, this is a chance for Fuwarak to prove Twisted Mind wrong, and it seems like they did manage to win, rubbing in their faces. Fuwarak says is now smiling and
Gout choosing to focus on Pick and Pichu up, and it looks like Gangsters will not be stopping them at all. AGL, on the other hand, struggling to get into the circle. The moment they hop on in, Cypher gets shot down by Poor. Pina finds Nameless, and AGL being dismantled here as Falcons will not allow them to move anywhere further. One more shot onto Barros is all that's needed. Pina is the one that gets the final bullet on that coffin. And it looks like AGL will be left with one final survivor, and that is the superstar due.
Very huge chance they will meet up and they might be eliminated. But as Team Flash moves in into one of the compounds in the middle, it's being occupied by 3 teams already. Man. They are going to see the rain of fire from that Bolt Maker, but I do agree, definitely surprising that AGAL was eliminated. But how can you not? We still have 8 teams in there in the 4th phase of the circle.
Man, this is just getting a tad bit too crowded at Casa Vista. You have got 3 different levels here, and each and every single level has been commanded by at least 1 squad, if not 2. Gangsters on that 2nd floor. In fact, there's 4 elevations here with Aki right at the very top. There are the surrounding walls, which Falcons are using for cover, and EVOS is doing the exact same on the opposite end. Both teams are trying to look for some wild shots at each other. They will find a couple of connections. MBR watching the drama between Falcons and EVOS, wondering exactly when can they backstab Falcons, but at the same time, they do not want to lose their vantage point.
Well, definitely, this is something that they need to keep for the moment, and glue walls is very crucial. But as Aki deals with crime, eliminates them, despite of losing a couple of players, they still have elevation, and now it's recovery time. Wait for them to finish those engagement, probably capitalize on openings of the window, and MBR can't be taken down. Similar to what we're seeing from Faiz as they keep themselves distant from the rest of the squad.
Yeah.
But who is very close in there, who might be able to take the chance.
Backstep Falcons in the wrong time here. The most unfortunate moment will befall them if Falcons do not spot them approaching.
Talk about follow the leader, and it's a good.
Many squads available in this final circle, and therefore they have to prioritize their positioning, Neptune, and that wall is going to keep them very safe for the time being. EWOS was just about to think of moving towards Falcons, but they get hit by triple Riptide Rhythms by two different squads, and On Fire will push on forward. Parpar finds one as well. Gao helping them from the opposite end. Aim got sprayed down to the ground. On Fire needs to get picked up, but the massive damage has already been done. Falcons will be able to dismantle EWOS with a little bit of help from opposite side of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've seen from the champion spirit of Team Falcons. Not so much of elimination from the beginning, but this is where they can take advantage of their position, leading everyone in this rotation and keeping themselves distance. But Team Flash being shot by multiple opponents as they made a launch pad, but Team Maki is trying to do the same thing. Good thing that they managed to survive, pull up a glue wall, but
to make the rotation round towards the boulder that Parpar is holding.
Oh, Poarak right now uses stealth bites in rotation, might be able to meet with Porpor, but as we head into battle of Gangsters and MBR, Gangsters is falling down. It's a good thing that they did place themselves higher into this round. Now MBR can recover. There goes a takedown, the final player of Team Aki. And as we look at it, Gao, who was securing that small compound there, has a full squad compared to the rest of the teams in here.
Yes, he will. Beautiful shot. He did manage to take down a player from the side of Falcons. I believe it was Pina that he managed to spray down. But the counter shot was there. MBR, on the other hand, are going to be rushed by Gao here. And Falcons do see the two teams engaging, and they will take the initiative to step up in front. On Fire, followed by Limit X7, trying to flank around from the right-hand side. Gao, on the other hand, trying to circle around all the players on the side of MBR. Stoker still crawling around, but they will not get picked right back up as C will both make sure with those backtans that they take out their opponents. And now it's Falcons up against Gao, and On Fire finds Demon, but the rest of the Gao players are mad rushing, looking for the Falcon players. Parpar quickly runs away, asking On Fire for that backup, and the backup was given.
Yeah, well, Team Falcons right now, even in isolation, they can land those shots up close and personal with M590. It is quite easy, but C will. Glimpse of hope for them, but the zone will says no, and Team Falcons get the booyah in game number 1 of day number 2.
Damn. And then at the EWC 2026, we saw them get that 6th spot. So they obviously not a bad run if you're looking in terms of prize pool that they're pulling away, but obviously it's a team that's capable of so much more, Neptune.
Well, let's see though.
They should be able to control the situation. And after I speak about that, you can see the engagements, Parpar as well as Limit X7. It's not the AWMs, it's not the M82B, it's the Car 98 as well as, what was the other guy? The M24 that Falcons used to bag the Aki players. And in the meantime, Magna finding a couple for themselves as well, talking about...
And the Binoculars will spot them even more. Here comes Mink with that MP5, but it doesn't pack a punch, and he's the one who has been responded with a Max 7 from Pina.
Absolutely brilliant, but the recovery is quick as well. AB, 2 more eliminations to pull to their side. The Zom giving his position away, but it'll be well worth it as he spotted an opportunity and grabbed it for himself, spraying Pina down to the ground. But On Fire now, going in here for the quick pickup, and that will be no elimination point for Flash.
As well as a Riptide Rhythm clear out the glue wall, but I think he does have a few more glue walls that he can pull off in this fight, keeping himself safe. So it's more of waiting for the rest of the team of Team Flash to help out ABCD. But look at the position being taken by the rest of the squad of Team Falcons. They are making sure that the isolation would stay a little bit longer.
Twisted with the 2 eliminations on the other side already. They are all looking for Demon. Por will not be able to continue hunting down the Flash players. ABCD slim out. Oh, eliminate 7 M24 does not get the shot, but ABCD, can he get far enough? 2 shots on connection. Limit is not happy with that. Goes in for the chase, takes the position on the high ground. Very smart positioning for Limit X7. Now he should be able to take the player out. Spots ABCD far away. And just with that 1 shot, follows it up, and 8 eliminations strong now, Falcons.
Falcons, there's no slowing down even in the get-go, but as we head over, meeting up with Onyx Olympus, and also a glimpse of some of Gao Esports. But on the weapons arsenal, Gangster right now being ganged up by Evo's Divine, and it's a 1v2 left to Hans. Will he be able to get away using that vehicle, or will just the fight back what is needed for this squad, for this guy to be able to make things work?
A time turner pulled out here, but unfortunate for Hans, his time turner will do absolutely nothing.
Well, it's a good thing that 1 revive has happened, but as we look into revive Gangsters, they managed to get a triple revive, so there's still a lot of teams about to be complete in a few seconds.
Will have their representatives just close to peak, but 2 main teams that'll be Twisted Minds as well as MBR. Question is going to be who's got the better defensive spot. 3 players on the side of MBR can gang up on Exposy, but Exposy is already calling in for the backup. The Bass arrives in the nick of time, jump flanking around from the right-hand side. Exposy shoots Fancy out of the vehicle. Brilliant play. Jokers will be forced to jump out as well. MBR scrambled on the battlefield. Diamond finds an easy one for himself, spots Jokers as well. And Jokers get stacked up from the right-hand side and put on the ground by Evos. And Abex will make sure he takes that point away before Twisted Minds can get an angle on it.
Yeah, and because of the tree as well, that leaves Abex a little bit clear for the running. But here comes the Bass as well as the jump. Knowing where they are at, they are trying to cut off any movement, any rotation that Evo's Divine has set up. The Bass is very close to make that jump, but Aim God was not tagged up that much. But the rotation, the Bass almost being taken down. Now a trade-off, and jump needs to recover. Here comes the rest of Evos. Make sure that they will be able to confirm the couple.
It's still fairly early in the game. A big map, big circle to play around with, so there's a big possibility for a Twisted Minds recovery.
Well, let's see though. There's still plenty of time, plenty of space. We're only in the second phase of the circle, and
now RRQ almost lost Duts there in that particular engagement, and they have to just get a little bit of a move on because they'll have to come across AGAL, and you want to be done with this fight as quickly as possible, or the circle's going to leave you high and dry. Dragon Freeze tossed out towards AGAL. Sci-Fi and Nameless just quickly sidestep that double glue wall melters as well, but neither one finds the connection. Now AGL is not going to put themselves in a little bit of a pickle here. They take the stairs, high ground now. They should be able to flank around onto Ma'al and Abe, and they're not waiting at all. They catch Ma'al off guard. Beautiful play by AGL. Sci-Fi is returned around. Valiant dash, and they find Abe as well. Inside of the time turner is Rans, and Nameless wants to get the job done. Max 7 taking it up straight towards Rans, and he does not spot Rans, and Rans will punish Nameless for being a tad bit blind in that situation, but you can't fault the guy at all. That was a panic play at its best, and Rans took advantage. Barros now, Riptide Rhythm, dropping down his defenses. Rans out again, but due out of nowhere with the saving shot. Barros almost got outplayed by Rans. Dash, it's a double-edged sword sometimes, right? Where you're just a tad bit too quick on your feet. In that situation, though, he didn't even use it. He just ran straight in, and I think just whatever he could see in front of him totally misses the player, and Rans did not miss that opportunity. He saw Nameless run past him, shoots him in the back, puts him down on the ground, but thankfully, RRQ, the veteran squad, had already sent Dudes out of the position very early on, out of the compound very early on, and because of that, they will survive. They continue.
Felt as well. So here we have it. Lightning Zone is involved as well, but from the other side, from downtown, the God, as well as Du, is dipping their fingers in this fight. How can you have a fair fight if there's a lot of, well, watchers in there trying to beat you down? And the Real works.
Interference at its best. Earlier on, they had to deal with the pressure of AGAL, and I don't think RRQ could have survived up.
Good thing that they were not spotted as they jump in here. But speaking of spotted, Team Falcons spotted, dealt with, and now feeling the burn. Only Porpo remains against Barros in this ledge as Barros was picked up, but let's see if he'll be able to take down Porpo just in time. But no, given an opportunity, he might be able to do it. Recovery is needed, but on a 1v2, it's not looking good for Team Falcons.
I was wondering how Porpor did that. It was the M82B just penetrating those glue walls, getting the knock on view as well. But it is a 1v2, so Porpor in a lot of trouble. Aki versus EWOS on the other hand will have Aki at a disadvantage in terms of numbers here. Good play by AimGod. Russian on fourth, getting the M590 on the connection. Reset on the other hand, pressured by ABEX. Will try to run at AimGod instead, and it's a 2v1 that will find AimGod picking up both of the eliminations back-to-back.
Half 4-man strong, 14 elimination from EVOS. Barros being dealt with by Team Flash after eliminating Team Falcons. And this might be it. Both of our predictions feeling the wrath of Bermuda. Same goes for Magna Esports. MBR though still a little bit deadly. Rand's footsteps might not be that quick against 3 players, but he can fire back. Now MBR, Bara, and Jokers being taken down, and Rand's was just a distraction, making it work for RRQ.
Hey, this is RRQ at their finest. We talked about how they needed the recovery, but it is the play zone that knocks down Rans to the ground, and Abe, they could not tank the
Of Garden near peak, but they're also inching in, so it's a pinch from both sides. But Faiz, a little too quick on the trigger, managed to bring down Crime, but Poom says no, and they might be ganged up right now as Team Flash is slowly inching in.
Absolutely, EVOS with the opportunity. They are on the lower ground, and they will try to keep this lower ground advantage to themselves as much as possible. Usually we talk about the high ground advantage, but with this elevation that they play up against Onyx, they will be able to avoid a lot of the initial engagements. But this is a bait. Double names tossed out here by Gade. Valiant dash in, and ABAX just does not give them any chance at all with the M590. Had the chrono, used it up earlier already. Now ABAX will just try to buy a little bit of time for himself whilst he waits for the active skill to find the refresh. ABCD as well as Minku trying to find the push, and it's the 3 players from the side of Flash that do make it, and the flank around by far is the sniper of the squad. Gets taken down by the God. ABCD finds AimGod. This is Flash dismantling EVOS. Zom knocked down to the ground. Minku will pick him up, and ABCD finds the assistance for the final defeat. And EVOS goes down. Flash rises up. This is where you get to sit and think about all the sins you've made.
And hopefully it doesn't go back to you in this fight. Let's see if this is where these teams are going to suffer. I'm really looking forward to how the flight path is going to be laid. We have Onyx in there near Ski Lodge, but we also see Team Aki going in for the early fight, and Fawarak trying to get away. That stealth piece doesn't give him so much, but there's also a trade onto Crime right there, but can easily be picked up. So that's 1 point for Onyx.
Yeah, it was that perfect trade, but that did not result in a elimination for the squad. They do lose the player, but instant revive being pulled back through here as well. The Bass is going to be pressured by Gade, Mini Uzi in his hands, and how did he get that?
Ina gives information to Luminix 7, and this is the most deadly player that they need to avoid. If Luminix 7 can take a shot of you, definitely you will be going down as quickly as that. 2 shots, 1 rip.
This is a rough one for Gangsters, but we jump on over to EVOS and Flash as well, who have spotted each other. Coach Hill taken down by the God and the M24, but instantly revived by AimGod. The God will get sprayed down by ABAX. And at the very same time, Minku takes out his opponent. ABAX down on the ground at the same time as well. And Faiz will try to get the heck out of there.
opponents, but it's good because AJL might continue their streak of getting more points. But RQ right now, after Sanjit and Hans did manage to seek in on them, they are now bringing them down. But Hans with a Valiant Dash, it's up to Sanjit and Abe. But Sanjit didn't let a shot. But here comes Maal to make it more difficult for the gangsters.
Man, they should have just shared their coins between themselves and look for a couple of solid eliminations here. Problem is, like we broke down earlier, they were going up against two squads that were just too much to take on, and the gangsters, as anticipated, will not survive
Quickly. MBR though, Rafaela. Let's see if he'll be able to take that shot. Here comes Fancy and the rest is Guang, but I think like Beagle-wise, driving-wise, it's not so good. They could have taken the glue wall before jumping out, and that gives them more opportunity for a takedown. And Jokers is the one on the ground, but as we look into the battle of Pichu as well as Fancy, both of them goes down, so a pickup can be done easily by Gao Esports, and they will have their third elimination, but they are also in trouble of being taken out because of the lightning zone.
Well, Goku Demon both catching up with each other. MBR right outside. Bara, what a shot with the M82B. Goku, unfortunately, will have to leave Pichu behind, but thankfully there was someone there to pick him up right back up. And Bara now under pressure. First two shots missed by Demon, but the third follow-up was perfect.
Bro, you know how chaotic Purgatory goes? I just want to challenge the team even further.
Boom's about to go boom as AJAL catches up with him. Double Riptide Rhythm. Oh, but Boom, what a 180 shot onto Cypher. Almost took him out of the equation there. Boom still alive and kicking, but he might be running straight into the hands of Twisted Minds as well. AJAL on the pursuit here to finish the player on the side of Onyx. Question is, do they actually have anybody else still alive and kicking? Pina, M79 needs one more grenade, but what a play by Abe. Definitely outplayed Pina with the M79 in that situation, but Limit with the perfect backup at the most crucial moment for the squad, and he uses the Superman as well to quickly recover.
Well, as we look into Por trying to catch up to the rest of the squad, and there you have it. That takedown through the glue wall, that really makes Limit X7 one of the best snipers in there. Imagine timing your shot in just an accurate manner with an assumption that that head will be in that perfect pixel.
Yeah, dude, you just cannot mess with the M82B, and we don't even know whether or not the guy was already marked, right? But Maal definitely had his shoulder sticking out of the very corner of the glue wall, and that was more than enough information for Limit. That M82B, the perfect weapon of annihilation. In Southeast Asia, I mean. MBR, on the other hand, in a battle up against Flash, ABCD, looking for the long extension behind. Zom, what a nade! Gets the double for the squad, and ABCD folds it up with a perfect M590 shutdown. Rafaela spotted from afar. ABCD with the VSK finds that one connection, but it just wasn't enough. Rafaela extended far beyond to find the god, but that will be the only sacrifice on the side of Flash, and it's a 3v1 now as Minku goes for the hunt.
Confirm Rafaela though, yes, they can add up one more to their number, but risking losing real estate in this final circle might not be worth it. But Gao Esports though, great on them to be able to defend themselves against Team Falcons, and Team Falcons will be spotted by AGAL. Same goes for Goku and C-Will. It's a three-way battle where AGAL...
Pichu Demon Goku. 3 more survivors here on the side of Gao. They'll have to hustle. They need to get across, find the vending machine, bring their buddy right back in. Alternatively, tank the blue and move towards one of these outer regions to find that revive. As MBR now gets taken out, we are left with 8 more squads in here. Pichu, beautiful landing here. Time Turner pulled out the moment he got down, and that's the kind of rotation we wanted to see out of Aki on that game number 1.
Yeah.
And although Gao did manage to put themselves in the middle of all of these heated fights as well as gunshots, they're still surviving somehow. Pichu in a 1v2. Cypher. And Pichu pulled up the perfect glue wall right in the moment, and he still gets the knock onto Nameless. And here comes Goku from the back as well, and he takes down Cypher. Gao might be able to win this, but unfortunately, Barros with the assist from afar helps out his buddy on the side of AJAL.
I would say that's still a great execution coming from the couple of players from Gao Esports.
Oh, yeah.
But they really couldn't fight.
That Booyah as well. It's make me happy, baby. Prediction time. Not always kind to ask this, but sometimes we get to smile. Aleph and Virus. Good assistance from across as well with the heal gun. And it's actually perfect airway here, AJL. Due up on top. They've got full vision over the other squads. I mean, that was beautiful. Weak shot here by the R98 hole. Main tossed on out as well. Barros will find G'day. Does the grenade reach the players? It seems like it does not, but AGAL, brilliant play up against Flash as well as Dew finds the final player.
Well, final player of Team Flash being eliminated. And there goes my prediction out of the window. But AGAL, though, in good position to take down Onyx. Another stack of glue walls. Cypher now setting up those ice grenades as well as glue wall melter to clear out whatever Onyx Olympus did manage to pull in on those glue walls. But they did also bring in a little bit of cover from that wall that force AGAL to pull away, but it's a little too late. G'day, M79, will he be able to land it once again? But that's a very aggressive move from Cypher and Barrows, staying outside of the circle. But this is one thing that Onyx Olympus has learned from the past. Don't go behind that wall, but they...
AGL made that cleanup look too easy. And now here is Aki right in front of them. But Magna and EVOS just staying out of this one. But it looks like they're staying out of it because they are in a little battle of their own. Now Magna turning around, trying to shut down AGAL on this rotation here at the very edge of the circle, but AGAL does have an advantage with the movement of this next zone. Right behind them is going to be Aki piling on the pressure little by little. They close in on AGAL with their glue walls. The Dragon Freeze will find a couple of tags as well, but the glue wall play of AGAL is brilliant, and they do manage to maneuver around the big wall for the defense, and now AGAL has got the best position on this map, and they quickly put the distance between themselves as well as Aki, and Aki has lost their advantage against AGAL.
Yeah, talk about gameplay, glue wall gameplay. Leon almost fell down in there because I saw three trip mines being laid out by AGAL before they retreat to that actual wall, and I was just anticipating, but great position. This is the flank that Dew is well known of, and AWM gameplay just puts so much pressure as the rest of AGL's dealing with Magna Esports. Great distraction that can make them secured as Booyah.
Dew just took another one. He knocked down Leong with the M82B. Now Barros has joined Dew up on top as well. Fuwanas and Long just picking each other back up, but Barros will put him down back on the ground. Leong is about to get caught out. Reset will find Getbu, and this is the balance player on the side of Aki taking on Magna because they just stood no chance at all if they just stand around, and AGAL will pull away a massive Booyah to start their comeback on day 2.
Well, I guess your prediction is right. At this point,
on Kalahari, there's a good reason why they walked away with the Booyah. Can they make it a double Booyah at Kalahari, just like what AGL has done for themselves on Purgatory? It's going to be difficult for sure, but it is not going to be impossible for Gao. As we start off this battle once again,
across the river. And that is the reason they're holding the vending machine very close and making sure they are scoping in to spot out the players from Magna. But Virus, he's going to be the one in deep troubles, because if he rallies a bullet out, Onyx will know, and with Onyx, Evo should follow right behind.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Damn, we've got a very crowded space here, don't we? We've got Onyx, we've got Gao, we've got EVOS, we've got Magna, we've got MBR, 5 squads, so close proximity to each other. This is just calling for chaos. This is just asking for trouble. These guys have to get out of there. But like Neptune mentioned earlier on as well, early parts of the game, really impossible to get up to 1,800 coins unless you really navigate around at least 3 or 4 of these compounds, hitting each and every single one of those coin machines and sharing the coins between yourself. Maybe even getting a couple of eliminations as well in the earlier parts of things. Gangster's going to be dropping by close proximity with the MBR this time round. Fantasy spots him out, push it forth with the Vector. Min called by Hans for the backup here. It's a 2v3, and they do get the tag onto Fantasy first. Gangster backing away. MDET being called for the backup as well, but the Gangsters I think they're a little bit too spread apart from each other to pull much away from this battle. Oh!
Magna is also falling close by, but there is the opening. Fancy brings it back, putting Gangsters down, but for how long? Both of them instantly falter, and what we were talking about,
Wow.
Magna trying to take advantage, it ends up being Gangsters also left all alone, and even MBR, but thankfully MBR had the player close to the vending machine, but where is LH06 gonna run? Pina right behind at the
GG.
trail, stealth bite gets run over, and then the last shot coming in from Popor is the end for Gangsters once again.
Man, it's so unfortunate for Gangsters. They had a great engagement up against MBR. Both squads managed to take away 3 points. Unfortunately, that space, that compound was just way too crowded. Fuwana's not going to get too lucky up against Pina, who jumps up to the top, AC-80 straight to the back as Fuwana's trying to back away, and the exact same result for the guy as he sees an opponent drop right behind him. It was Reset that pulled it back for...
Wants to go for a challenge, but right now as we speak about challenges, RRQ Kazu, they have one right in front of them. It's going to be AGAL. Rance tries to run up, doesn't work. Nameless was ready with the Bison, instantly puts him down, and now Maal trying his best, puts Nameless down. Saifa gets the call that the players from RRQ have gotten closer, and Dew instantly puts him down, and that is the run for RRQ coming to a rest.
Goku has got the Mag 7. Oh, but the Bass literally pulls out the Trogon. I just thought that he was about to be the one at a disadvantage here with the Charge Buster. But as long as he's got the Trogon in his hands, he should be able to navigate his way around this Mag 7 gameplay. And as anticipated, the Bass does exactly that up against Goku. But he did have a little bit of backup here from Diamond as well. Not that he needed it.
But Falcons, they have an opportunity this time. It seems like Zom has been isolated. Pina should be good with that 1v1, but initial damage coming in from Zom does take a chip off Pina, but not for long. M1917 coming in from Pina puts him to rest. The dual revolver is going to get the best of the player from the flash. But Team Aki, they are still trailing behind Fuwara.
Making, or at least playmaking shot there for the side of Falcons if Pina had managed to find that connection. Porpor on the flank towards that right-hand side, and Fuwara has got the exact same thought here. Lightning Zone has been called upon the squads here. Question is, who has brought this out in terms of utility? Both teams seem to be scrambling, but it looks like it is Falcons that are a little bit more nervous out there. Fuwara finds the double out of the Car 98, and as we look at Fuwara, clearly it was a Falcons Lightning Zone that didn't seem to be helping them out at all.
Not at all, and now Reset ready with a Max 7, already taking a chip. And it's going to be very difficult for Limit X7 to run. It is only the glue walls that he's trying to work as a savior. Popo, he is somewhere far away from his teammates, who's behind enemy lines and could never get a sight of Team Aki. And Reset will get the last player out. Limit X7, that's going to be Fuwarak, but there's another challenge. It's going to be AGAL, who run right in. Saifa is close right next to the balcony. Fuwara gets knocked out by Barros. And now Saifa in the compound where Reset is. They're trying to find where the player ran. Fuwarak's confirmation will go to the side of AGAL. And it seems like somehow Reset tried to make a run, but he'll run right into the grasp of Pina.
AL get far, far away instead of falling into a very early skirmish with a powerful team like Falcons. EVOS up against Twisted Minds, on the other hand, is going to see AimGod getting taken down very early on. One final survivor who will be shut down by the Bass as well as his Strogon. And EVOS are out super early.
We did have initial questions with their star player missing. Is it going to affect? Initially it didn't, but right now as the competition's heating up in the later games of day 2, a lot of trouble, but trouble even for RRQ. They've been trying to just mend their wounds and find a stable ground. It's not been working.
Now, it looks like it's going to be a challenge for them if they do get caught out a little bit too early. But you know, if you want to go out there and dominate some of your lobbies, you might as well do it in style. The Buriram Champion Bundle is coming your way very, very soon.
And right now coming into battle is going to be Twisted Minds again with GOW, Gao Esports. Seems like there is a lot of trouble that they're unable to move away from, but can they win this fight this time? They do regroup and give some space for Twisted Minds to get closer. Damage being done. Jump had to little back off. Goku is close by, but glue walls all across and he has nowhere to run. It seems like he is in his own entrapment of a glue wall. Hugh wants to help out, but can PCU do something different? Goku finally will be able to destroy the glue walls, get closer to PCU, and on the other end, Jump and the Bus Finally, they find a chance to move ahead as their teammates have crossed over, and Demon has already taken a hit coming in from the bullets of the side of Twisted Minds, and Demon is making a run, and the Twisted Minds are taking this as an advantage to chase him down.
On the back, okay, started out already. Even with the advantage there with the initial shot, but it's a 2v1 and the Bass gets a great follow-up on the M590. Just a little bit too brave there because of that electrotherapy connected to him, and he didn't even use his Valiant dash, so that active skill still very much intact in his hands. Exposy has a massive advantage up against Goku in the vehicle. Goku jumps on out to take that advantage away from Exposy, now sitting down right behind the vehicle that blows up, saves himself with a fantastically placed glue wall. But for how much longer? Here comes the push. Diamond, Car 98 finds the first shot onto Goku. It's a flank on the other side as well. The Bass with the M590, and it will be the breakdown of the glue wall that finally ends Goku's run here alongside GOW.
One is going to be Makna and the other is going to be MBR.
Onyx loses another player, and it is their newest addition, Poom. Twisted Minds trying to cut off their rotation here. Beautiful shot onto Gade. The connection was beautiful, and the Bass just could not go in for the follow-up just yet. And now he tries to overextend. Demons is found. Exposy looking for that backup as well. Now Gade has not been spotted out just yet. The Bass finds him right beside the vending machine. Breaks down the defenses. It's a 2v1. Gade stood no chance up against Twisted Minds as Exposy took the CQC with the AWM.
Twisted Minds have been so meticulous in all their action, and Crime wanted to make a run, and he will also...
The side of AGAL, the God taken down here. Twisted Minds, on the other hand, up against Magna. They spotted the opportunity and they want to take it, but shots from behind. RRQ taking advantage of this crossover by Twisted Minds. Double Riptide Rhythm breaking down their defenses, but a quick repositioning here by the Twisted Minds players. But Diamond still gets put down onto the ground as Onyx spots the opportunity as well. And Onyx now shoots their own Riptide Rhythm up against Twisted Minds, breaking down extra of those glue walls. Twisted Minds don't have much of a chance. They went in looking to be the predator, but they might just become the prey in this situation as Magna watches all of this breakdown.
Twisted Minds, they were the ones doing the hunting so far, but they let Onyx get behind them, and this could be trouble, as you mentioned. Makna holding the compound for the time being, not allowing Twisted Minds to get closer, and Twisted Minds are now twisted in that position. Not sure whether to exit. If they do, it's going to be Makna trying to fire at them. If they don't, it's going to be Onyx trying to take advantage when Makna fight breaks out. For the time being, it seems like Falcons also want to make a jump here, but Jump himself finds one on Crime. A quick knock, not much to be worried about. They were right behind the tower, so that will give them enough cover to revive the player back up, and Onyx still have another chance to fight here with Twisted Minds.
Onyx, they can't reach Twisted Minds, and Twisted Minds cannot reach them, so the utilities gets tossed on out first. Lightning zone has been called, and in such a tight little zone, we have no idea exactly who has pulled this out, but everybody is in trouble as Flash finally finds MBR running straight into the compound, but they're gonna find another Indonesian squad to deal with as well. RRQ coming back in here to take that refinery platform away from Team Flash, and Vietnam about to get kicked off here unless they can make some magic work. But RRQ are the first ones to move as they meet AGAL down. They saw the rotation and they swoop on in for the Punisher. Two players taken out of the equation already, and RRQ wants their refinery platforms back.
Nameless is the last man standing, and it could be all trouble and all done for. He tries to fall down. Dutz on the other end now has a different target. RRQ Kazu now just pummeling bullets after bullets. Till now they kept their calm. They were all cool-headed, but now they're not allowing anybody ahead of the game. Mahal gets Twisted Minds, and with that, Twisted Minds are going to be done for. They had the highest in terms of eliminations, but RRQ Kazu say, we are going to turn that fact in our favor. Dutch finding one more. That puts their total to 10 eliminations, and Nameless, he's still trying even though the last man standing. Maal finds one on Pawpaw, but Falcons are all entrapped in one corner at the edge of the zone. There's a nade, a big flash freeze that gets sent off. Will be chipping the damage on Falcons, but look at RRQ Kazu. They have a zipline. They can take it right towards them, but they're not doing it. Nameless and Dew now together trying to help out, but this could be a mistake. Maal did not judge it. He also thought there was only one player from AGAL, and somehow with the glue walls they also block them, and they also get blocked and defend themselves from AGL for the time being.
Oh, babe, that is a big play there. Drops Nameless as he went in there for a little bit of a careless engagement, and now it leaves Dew in a sticky little situation up against RRQ, the final survivor on the side of AGAL. Flanking around from the left-hand side. Flash gave RRQ so much of time, and Luan now being sprayed down. They did try try to take advantage as the rotation came through from RRQ, but all they could manage was to take a little bit of damage in there and to get the knock on to Rans, who got taken out of the equation. AJL finally expanded. MBR gets taken out of the equation as well, and we are left with only 3 final squads. It's RRQ Falcons as well as Flash with the final survivor, who gets taken out by the circle.
And now it comes down to the last 2 teams, but the advantage here for Falcons, somehow they fended all the throwables coming in from RRQ Kazu and are still standing as 4-man strong. Limitex 7 finds one on fire as well. Dutton, it's the last man, Maal, and Bina jumps right in, and with the M590 lands the last blow. That is gonna be the Falcons swooping in.
And Purgatory, and we saw a little bit of a dip on Kalahari, a little bit worried about how they are going to be navigating this next game here. But again, they do have Poom on their side, and I feel like today he hasn't proven himself just yet. Maybe on this next Terra map is where we get to see him shine a little bit.
Twisted Minds at the boxing gym do not have any competition for the time being, but Rustown seems to be a little crowded with Gao and Falcons.
Yeah, Gao going up against Falcons very early on. Aki dropping a little far away, so they're not going to be a problem to deal with for the time being. They'll have to focus in on Gao and Falcons, but Limit out of the equation very early on. Gao has a massive advantage, but just enough coins for Pina. He goes in, but On Fire is already there with that revival. Nothing much for Falcons to worry about. But if Gao wants to take an advantage, they should attack right here, right now.
But when we talk about attacking right now, it's going to be Team Aki attacking Makna. Jan's trying to run away, but he's right in front of Reset, one of the top rookies, and now Virus, the last one standing, is taking a fight on Onyx. He's the only survivor here, and I don't think Makna will have an opportunity. Demon gets taken down. The other players from Onyx Olympus, they're not close by. However, Team Aki, they're closing the distance. Instant dash fix. He will make sure that there is no opportunity, but it's going to be Poom who gets the last player from Makna and putting their
aggress upon the team of Aki just yet. They also have their own problems to deal with. It's Gangsters with the high ground advantage up against Onyx, who split up on the battlefield, and as I say that, they lose G'day.
Gangster, so far in all the games that we've seen, they've not had a good run at all. It was just the booyah that they have been banking on, which they got in game number 2 yesterday. And other than that, they've been barely able to grasp some points. Hans has an opportunity. Poom was the one who was doing the damage and taking some eliminations for Onyx Olympus, even after having a casualty. Right now, he is stuck right around the pillar under the bridge. Closing the distance is going to be Gangster Esports. Poom not in a great position, not much to work with. MDET as well in the other direction.
In with the chemistry just yet after bringing Poom onto their side. So maybe they just need a little bit more time to soak like a good tea. But of course, as I say that, I actually don't really like tea. I realized very recently I like the sugar in tea. I like the milk in tea. But I don't really like the tea. So yeah, great big discovery.
Green tea?
No, it's normal tea, bro.
But no tea.
Even chai. Have you ever tried drinking chai without milk and tea? Sorry, without milk and sugar? Just like tea?
No, never.
Yeah, there's a reason why you don't.
That would be considered a crime.
There's a reason you don't. Barros now in a tight little spot up against 2 players, locked down by the thrill of battle, had no chance of using his active skill, especially up against the 2 players from the side of MBR. Even if he did use the active skill, he would have gotten just burnt down.
Again, Team Flash right in front of them, and Joker's taking a quick launch pad right in that direction, and dropping right at the dip of that riverbank is a smart idea rather than jumping right to the arsenal. And now Flash have an idea what's happening. In the instant he'll take the zip and trying to make a run. Mink is going to be stuck. Zom as well taking the damage. Luan, who is going to be picked off mid-air. It's going to be Zom to fall first. It seems like the other players somehow at the distance will be able to make it away, but they end up losing 1 player as a casualty.
Fancy is actually taking the zip line here. There you go. Backing away, just waiting for the rest of his team members to catch up as well, because if he gets knocked down halfway through on that zip line, easy elimination for the opponents. AGL, on the other hand, finding EVOS out on the open, and the God driving away from Ekal. So I think EVOS may just survive this one for a little bit longer, as Flash is now the distraction for AGAL.
AGAL, 5 eliminations this time. And Onyx right on the horizon, they have an opportunity. But if they decide to take a fight, it could be one that they call in, and it is Poom who starts it off, gets the confirmation, but it's going to be stolen away. That is, and Onyx and RRQ rather meet each other, which is going to be the distraction that AGAL will need, and All Gamers Global will back off from this fight, letting both RRQ and Onyx fight amongst themselves. And G'day, Abe has closed the distance. Demon is inside the compound, and G'day has to move away, get back in the same compound as his teammate, and boom, I don't think has enough vision to help his teammate out. But look at the nades instantly tossed from Abe to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, it was Onyx that pulled out the thrill of battle. RRQ's locked in already. No active skills, no problem. They've got their gun skills, and they just rush at Onyx, getting the double knock for themselves. And that just looked like it was just a no contest for RRQ at all. Reset on the reset. He just moves on in to the vending machine, but will be pushed back by Diamond, who is pressured by Reset. Gets the spray down with the Thompson. And double Riptide Rhythm. Can he get the double for himself? Instant pick up. The team are definitely in action there. And now Reset's in trouble as Jump finds him with the mag 7.
Fix too late to make this jump. Diamond and Jump would have an opportunity here. Fix is going to be stuck. A 1v1 duel right now. Isolated, and Fix was only good for a knock. Teammates are instantly back. It's too close. And there's going to be another elimination added to their battle. But Gao, what can they do against MBR? MBR always look good in the early game, and Goku is already picked off. PCU, can you take something off? Can he isolate a duel? There's going to be the electrotherapy, and all he does is going to be an exchange of a knock. So far, every
off of the BSK, but misses that perfect opportunity. Barros versus Mink, and it's just AGAL dismantling Flash from afar. Barros now pressured by Mink on that M590, and he calls for backup. The backup is Cypher. This means trouble as Minku finds him. But here is that backup.
What?
As Cypher and a CQC, both of them in trouble, and Minku actually finds Cypher as well, even though he was locked down by the thrill of battle.
What a play coming in from Minku over there. Doubles down the 1v2, all odds against him, and he wins. Similar situation could have been for Falcons, but Falcons this time they had the numbers better, and they'll be able to stabilize themselves with Evos finding the last member of Gao. It is done for Gao here in Nextera. All they'll be wishing for is game number 6, something that favors them, but something unfavorable about to strike is going to be Gangster LH06. He sends out a Riptide Rhythm, but the force of Falcons is something that he'll not be able to send away, and that is another elimination.
Ma'al finds the Zom. Flash just not doing great at all, and Luan in the hands of another Indonesian squad. It is EWAS that has the potential of potentially taking out Luan here from the equation. Ikal gets up on top. Luan spotted. The glue wall broken down with a valiant dash, and the player taken out by Faiz from afar on that VSS.
Nice try to survive over there, but they had your address and phone number. And unfortunate that he gets taken down. He was divine. They're trying to climb up the rung, and we were talking about it. After not having Rasya, with the new addition, they're trying to make it work, and it is working. Ikal is the new addition, especially in this game. A quick substitution that they managed to do. A Bax has been knocked. That is coming in from AGAL. They're moving in for the confirmation. Barros are also on the other end. Ikal going in for the revive. Gets in time. Nice damage, but it's not going to be a knock. Faiz had to do a little better, but it does push back the players of AGAL. Barros making a run. However, a Bax will try to trade his opponent out, going in for a chase. He wants to see who is better on this dash, and Abbas will be able to take him down. Divine have not always had the better of it. RRQ on the other end, they have another opportunity to get themselves an elimination, but it's going to be a surprise because the player from Gangster was just hiding around the room, hands now trying to make a run, but he has the entire squad of RRQ surrounding. I don't know how he was surviving through the windows, but fortunately for RRQ, that elimination will be added to theirs. Looking good for them, but Twisted Minds, can they make it a better game from Kalahari of 17 eliminations this time as they challenge Evos Divine?
Twisted Minds, EWAS, Faiz, great position up against Diamond. How did you not take him down? Faiz instead gets a sliver of health chunked away, and the Bass puts him down. Beautiful stuff. Apex steps on out, and the moment he pops out, he takes the Bass down. But Ikal from inside, trying his best to keep his buddy up on the ground. Jump now circling around, looking for the shutdown onto Apex. No utilities being used by Twisted Minds at this point at all, allowing EVOS to actually find that quick recovery and put the distance between themselves once again. Ikal all alone out in the open. That's a big mistake by the EVOS player.
I was a little too bold, and there instantly gets taken down. He did find a knock, but that's not going to be a confirmation now. Abax as well as Kosil will be the last two survivors in Twisted Minds as they get to know the zone's closed out and there is a team holding them off. They try to run away, but Kosil puts Exposy down, jump as well, and that's going to be two of the players from Twisted Minds down. Confirmation as well going in for Kosil. He'll be very happy about it. However, one of it was stolen by Gangster. See, to move in the other direction, and might be actually a smart move that they do not want to be up in contention between multiple teams. But Diamond with a Car 98K puts him instantly down, puts a little bit of an obstacle before Gangster move back and regroup.
Yeah, Gangster's really lucky they got away with that one because they were split up in a 2-2 formation. It's part of the battlefield. But of course, when you are down at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're not really looking to get super aggressive out there. So I understand the Gangsters as well. Barros now in a tight little spot. Reset jumps right behind him. Barros almost sprayed down to the ground. It's a 1v3 and he stood no chance.
There was an opening that he found with the help of Dew. He thought he could bank upon it, but the members were just in too many. And eventually Barros was taken down. But on the other end, Falcons, they have a fight that they want to deal with. But it's going to be MBR who have secluded themselves inside a compound. RRQ, they thought they jumped into a clean compound, but Dew, the last one standing from AGAL, instantly gets wiped out. And with that, AGAL will come down to their run here in Nextera. Down to the last 5 teams. Falcons on the edge. Even Team Aki, it might break down between Falcons and Team Aki before MBR has a chance. And MBR might be at the best of it if they try to pick up eliminations. Porpor opens it up. Leong with the nade. That could be Falcons' opportunity to run up. Another nade being tossed, but this time it only chips off on Team Aki.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate that nade just went towards the outside of the circle and obviously nobody was going to be there. Everybody on the side of Aki had already rotated into the safe zone already. But now MBR stuck between Aki as well as Falcons, but Aki will do them a favor by backing away from Falcons, which means MBR has got one less team to worry about. Porpor tries to take that high ground advantage using all of his own glue balls as the perfect stairway to heaven. RRQ focusing on the players of Falcons there, but they might just find MBR instead. Porpor, on the other hand, up on top with the vantage point, looking for the Aki players. Knocks reset down onto the ground, gets another knock as well, but the pickups are instantaneous and Falcons are not pulling a stop at all. Pina whips out the M79, but picked with the M590, knocks limit down onto the ground, and they could not save him. Pina cannot find the knocks with the M79, and Porpor tries to get up close, but it's the glue walls out of Team Aki that keeps them far, far away, and Aki actually survives the rush for Falcons for the time being.
Oh, on fire with the dash, but he gets instantly taken down. Pina trying to hold it off, and he successfully does with the help of Porpor, and Porpor has been the MVP for the Falcons. What a play coming in from his end. However, they're a man down. They have to be worried about it, and all because of RRQ. It seems like MDET finds the opening on Porpor, but right as now Gangster, they're not so close enough to take this fight. And with the Bolt Maker being called, it's going to be a land of trouble and lightning all across. A bear puts MDET down, and now trouble, as you spoke about it, the stalemate working in favor for RRQ. 2 players down. Abai wants to help out, but he will be confirmed as Duts and Maal do not step out. Now Gangster have an opportunity with the zones closing in, the damage being done. Min trying his best, but LH06 and hands are taken down, and Min was the last one, and Pina again with his M590 with the CQC looking unstoppable, and the Falcons have found open ground for themselves.
On fire, and Pina just absolutely brilliant right now for Falcons, but it's MBR with the full squad. Dudes has been taken down already. MBR needs to take advantage of the hunting squad of Falcons who are going out there for the RRQ players. Fancy now finds himself Porpor knocked down. Beautiful M590 play. On fire tries to save his buddy, but it is a barricade of glue walls that stands between themselves as well as Falcons. P9 on fire, sticking together. Rifaela down on the ground, but instant pickup. On fire, knocked down by Jokers on that M590. Pina all alone, and he's going to be clipped as well as Rifaela flanks around from the left, and the VSK gets MBR. The booyah.
MBR Omega with a booyah. What a game.
Most definitely, man. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to be heating it up once again as you throw you into the desert sands of Kalahari. This will be the final game, the final map of the day. And this will be the final day of Group B on week 1. Min, on the other hand, is going to be in a little bit of a pickle here. Up against 2 players, uses the Valiant Dash very early on, has the mini Uzi in his hands, uses up all of his glue balls, tries to get 1 knock, still alive, does manage to find it, but Fantasy has that follow-up instantaneously, and Joker's about to be picked up. None of the other...
Omega, they're not in that situation. However, Gao
Ooh.
Esports, they've seen in the top 3, but they're fighting with the top dogs themselves. It's going to be RRQ Kazu, and they instantly put Civil down. And before the other players from Gao could get closer, their player is now long lost. He's still trying to contest, jump on the submarine, but Demon is already trying his opportunity at the vending machine first and then action, but it's going to be Maal who puts PQ down, and it is again trouble for Gao Esports.
Yeah, beautiful play here. And I think that revive should be pulled through as Rance knocks Demons down to the ground. Gao already pulled off that revival, and all Goku as well as PQ needs to do is to get away from this tense situation as quickly as possible. Goku, one shot to the back. And there's no follow-up at all from Maal. Yes, there is a follow-up from Maal as Goku gets sprayed down to the ground. And the elimination will be taken easily by the sniper of the RRQ squad.
Those players who managed to take the first launch across the edges of that submarine. Doesn't find him. However, MBR Omega, they try and go towards a fight, and they instantly are in a fight. It's going to be against Falcons, and it's going to be Popor who holds it off, and Pina to help out to take those damages. They had no clue of where Popor was, and now they're losing players one after another. They put down the sentry gun, but for all in vain. One last player trying his best. Jokers puts Pina down, but On Fire is right behind him, and he'll put the player out. That is completely in the other direction. Therefore, they're not much worried about it as of now. But Twisted Minds, they have to be worried because Jans from Makna wanted to try his best, but Exposy comes in as the savior with the Riptide Rhythm, destroys the glue wall, and also the hope for a 1v1.
Fantastic, opposed to using that Morse to quickly reposition out there on the battlefield. The aggressive snipers and the flanking snipers. That's exactly what we want to see more of here in the current meta. And speaking of the flanks, RRQ looking to flank away at the players on the side of Onyx, who are trying to scramble and stay alive here in the compound of Ridge.
Trying to stay alive, can Poom make sure it happens, but he's going to be found in 2 different directions. But it's going to be first RRQ Kazu, but RRQ, as they do this, there's Team Aki on the other end as well as Gangster. And it is going to be Aki who take a shot. That's going to be Fuwarak who gets instantly knocked. But Gangster, they're the ones who end up getting chipped off. RRQ thought that is the same team because as of now, nobody has any clue. It is just that they are opponents and shoot everybody down. Fix tries to close the distance, but the Car 98K coming in from Duds instantly puts him down to get his teammate back up, and successfully he does do that.
Rance in a little... Fuwara, if you keep missing those shots, it looks like RRQ will be able to wiggle their way away from this. But Reset with the Car 98. The Car 98 is just a cracked gun at this point of time, man. There's no amount of distance can keep it from finding its mark. Abe with a sliver of health left on him, trying to survive up against Fuwara. Will use his Valiant Dash to quickly reposition, but Leong trying to flank around, and Abe will get taken down. Just spent way too long out in the open here, and Aki takes the initiative to cut down the distance and get those extra points for themselves.
While we talk about extra points, it seems like Team Flash also want for some in their direction. Bara gets taken down instantly, and MBR Omega were not having an idea about it. Fancy now wants to take a head-on fight, but it's going to be a 1v2 Zom and instantly Mink as well. But Zom knows that the player is way close up, and they instantly go for a battle. It seems like it's just running around the edges, and MBR Omega's unfortunate instantly Fancy, who decided to stay back, will be the one who will get taken down. UAV also sent out to see if there are more players from the side of MBR Omega, but in their surprise, none of the players are going to be there. It's only those 2 eliminations they were able to grab. But when we talk about eliminations, it seems like Gangster are just being the elimination card for every team. Hands, the last one standing, has landmines all across, but On Fire has already spotted him, and he's not inside the compound. Therefore, they're just treading around, and On Fire with the M590, the shotgun shell, puts him down instantly, and that is Hans' elimination confirmed for Falcons.
3 landmines laid down side by side with each other, and he did not bait them in to walk over those landmines at all. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, but it's okay as long as the ideation was strong. Choosing to play recovery instead.
Twisted Minds, can they recover after having a big game? That was here in Kalahari itself. They had 17 eliminations. This time they have 6. Barros has been spotted. Teammates are closing the distance. The Baz did not have an idea, but gets chipped out down to 15. But Barros is also low on health. Still Barros manages to find the knock, but that is the only thing he'll be able to do. No confirmations coming through. And when you talk about confirmations, there is Onyx Poom who gets a confirmation on Gao Esports. And today's entire day for Gao has been just losing down to other battles.
Demon, cars on fire. G'day, high ground advantage. Onyx should be able to pull away another one here. Demon just missing a couple of shots, but has got the right intention here. And Demon has got enough utilities to get him into a safe compound where he will need to use whatever medkits that he has on him. But can he survive up against two players who are dead set on making him into an elimination point?
I don't think there is an opportunity that he'll be able to run away, because even if he runs away from here, there's an Arsenal behind him. And that was what I was worried about. MDET was silently holding himself off, and he gets that confirmation, but he's also trying his best to take down the chase that was happening. But Pina on a 1v1 at the distance, and Gangster, while we saw MDET here, we end up seeing the other players. Falcons Pina has to back off. He doesn't have any reinforcement. Again, use the launch pad. So the stealth bites will lose some of its time.
RRQ limit, AWM in hand, tries to connect with Rans, who does have the SMG on his side. CQC in the shot, and Rans, my goodness, up against a sniper, up close and personal, and the sniper actually outplays the rusher. And that's how dangerous Limit is. Remark they've been making is just a slightly better one than Gangsters. And Gangsters are showing up in a different way altogether after you sent your support their way. They're like, Lucifer believes in us. We got to do this, guys. 9 eliminations already. And Gangsters are definitely bringing out the gangster spirit as I speak of them. MDET gets knocked down to the ground. It's the one and only Limit X7, but in front of us, it's Aki up against RRQ, desperately trying to get into the circle of Wara in the CQC VSK. Knocks Dudes down to the ground. Leong and Fix trying to survive up against Abe and Rance. Rance just runs into them alongside Abe, who gets a double for himself in terms of the tags, but it was Rance and the Mac-10 that finds Leong in the head. Ma'al going to be put in a tight little spot here. The battle between RRQ and Aki taking too long outside the zone.
While two of the players were in a 2v2 from RRQ as well as Aki, it worked out for RRQ. But in a 1v1 duel, it was going to be Aki. But right now, as you can see, Maal going down, Rans as well, it's only up to Abe. And Abe has to be worried that there are more players from Team Aki in the close distance. Reset quickly going in for the confirmation, gets his third elimination, adding on to the rookie showdown, will also go closer towards the vending machine, has enough coins to get one player back up, but I think he wants to go in for a full revive, and Abai closing the distance did not want to give him the chance to take him down in that corner. However, Abai still finds one of his teammates, Farak, down a reset. What he couldn't do to the vending machine, that is revive or plug his teammate back in. If he doesn't do it now or find a chance in this 1v1 duel, it is going to be an end for Team Aki. Challenge with the Valiant Dash coming in from Abe, and now has an opportunity. Glue walls being placed, his defenses reset, somehow dodging all of it. Riptide being used, but he was not ready to scope it down, and Abe has an opportunity once again, but 66 on HP, but reset is super low and he gets hit. That was the zone also working as a blessing for Abe, and that is going to be the last player on both ends to falter.
For my prediction, RRQ gets taken out way too early. Well, I didn't know the map. I got lucky with that one, but the boys do not survive on one of their better maps at all. It doesn't matter as long as they have done their best. Riptide Rhythm double on the take here for the side of EVOS, breaking down MBR's defenses, making it a little bit more difficult for them to deal with Twisted Minds, but they quickly back away. Rafaela down on the ground. The Dragon Piece tossed on in there as well, and the Bass just runs at them with the M590, getting that knock as well. MBR being dismantled by Twisted Minds and their aggression.
But close by are going to be MBR, Omega, EVOS, Divine. It's a very clustered position. Again, shots being taken by the Car 98K. AGAL Dew, who's trying to trail behind Onyx Olympus, gets hit by. And now that is going to be for him to be worried that there is another team keeping an eye on, and same goes for AGAL's other teammates as Saifa gets picked off by Falcons on fire.
Twisted Minds have managed to successfully take away the compound from MBR, but MBR are not out of the thick soup just yet because they got away from Twisted Minds just for a matter of a few seconds before Magna tried to take advantage of that situation. And hearing the approach here from Twisted Minds, they will choose to take a couple of steps back. In the meantime, Pawpaw finding crime. Onyx not having a great run out there, but the pickup is instantaneous. They're somehow still surviving with their glue walls. Flash just staying out of this tricky situation out there in the open by not getting involved with the thick of the action here within the circle.
That edge is Way too thick for multiple teams to keep holding off. Not a great side, but Makna somehow do not even get closer to Fancy. Therefore, he still survives, but he's taking the damage of the circle. And on the other end, Makna have closed the distance and moved into the compound, same as Twisted Minds. And Twisted Minds are on the floor above. They're trying to make sure that the Makna doesn't get closer. And Twisted Minds, they better be ready for it because Makna want to destroy the glue walls, get closer. Nate's trying to be tossed, but Diamond is the first one to fall. This is going to be from Evo's Divine. A flash freeze coming in, doing trouble, but quickly on the revive as well. But Team Flash on the other end, with the help of the Falcons, the last player from Gangster, MDET, will be picked off and they will be put to rest on Kalahari.
You also Dandanaka. Unfortunate. Both the casters and their predictions down in the drain. 7 more squads left in here to see if they can rise up to the top and grab that booyah here for themselves. Magna trying to stay alive up against Twisted Minds will choose to take that position right down below them as Twisted Minds quickly repositions, and a bad move by Exposy waiting for the very final moment. The circle pressures them and the shots from afar from Onyx. Crime gets the SVD shot as well. The Bass almost taken down but pulls out a glue ball, but locked down by the Thrill of Battle as well. Whose Thrill of Battle? We have no idea. It's just way too messy with so many squads in a tiny little circle right now.
And that is them doing it to themselves, playing at the edge. And look at Falcons now taking a jump. Makna are trying to hold them off, and Onyx Olympus are also helping them out in tandem. And Falcons, they fall flat in that launch that they decided to take. And Onyx Olympus, they have an opportunity. They have all their 4 players. Makna have also made it to the last leg of this fight. And Team Flash, they're the ones who are in a dicey spot out in the open. No compound to cover themselves. It's just these glue walls to protect.
And Flash now are in a damn good position, but they understand that they'll eventually need to move because the next circle is going to be far, far away from them. Riptide Rhythm sent the way of the players of Onyx, and that's not going to be putting them under a lot of pressure at all. Twisted Mind changes their minds once again, backs away from the compound of EVOS. The most advantageous spot for Flash has now turned against them as they'll now need to navigate through all of the chaos to the opposite end, but they will find a straggler. Oh, they do not find the MBR player Fancy with his sneaky moves, but now he's got the zone right behind him.
3 teams have not spotted Fancy, but now the zone closing in, he cannot run away. Will be finally picked off by Mink. However, Evo's Divine, trouble for them as a nice nade drops right in their window. Bax was down, but will be quickly revived with the zones closing in. It is shifting. On the other end, Team Flash, they're getting picked up by Onyx as well as Team. That is going to be Makna. Together, they are mincing the players of Team Flash. Twisted Minds are also getting spotted out, and the 2 players will be put to rest. But Onyx Olympus, they're getting the better of this because the players are trying to run away from this position, and they're the ones who are scoping them down and putting them one after another.
Mincing is the right word. This is the meat grinder, and Magna, they are the ones who are the butchers in this lobby, trying to take advantage of all of these ghosts that they see running around right in front of them. EVOS shuts down Demons, and I don't think Demons is going to get picked up. G'day right outside the window, trying to put pressure on the EVOS players, but that's going to fail as Twisted Minds gets eliminated from the equation as well. Flash about to falter. EVOS needs to do something. Boom still standing on the side of Onyx, and he is all alone right behind that one glue wall. And G'day gets a triple out of nowhere on EVOS. Onyx, holy hell! Just with G'day and that monstrous nade wipes out the whole of EVOS Divine.
What a 3-pointer, a sweet Kobe landing right in through the window's edge. And G'day empties the lot of Evo's Divine in a blink, gets the 4th player as well with his max 7. Now Poom and G'day have another opportunity against Team Flash as well as Makna Esports Club. We've been talking Makna, if they have to show up, they have to do it now. They've not had a better game, and it seems like with the number advantage that they have, they should be banking on it, but they decide to split off. It's a 2-1, and Onyx Olympus now there inside the circle. Poom keeping at a distance, making sure he has the angle if somebody tries to close the distance. G'day, however, losing a lot of health in his battle with Jans, and has to patch himself up quickly using the medkit, and Makna, they decide to regroup once again.
Oh, Virus, that's a crucial shot onto Poom. G'day now needs to go in for the save, but he chooses to get on top of the roof instead, putting pressure onto Alif, and will find Alif as he's trying to get off the roof. But Virus was there for the quick trade as he jumped on up. And Luan does the exact same thing to Virus, and now puts Flash in a position where they may be able to walk away with the booyah here on the final game. It's a 2v1. It's all up to Jans. Virus taken out of the equation already. And Luan, the game changer here for the side of Flash. He gets up on top in case they need to use use the medkits to get the booyah away. And Magna, from almost walking away with the booyah with the most number of players, are now put in a tight little spot. A 1v2 for Yams.
What a game coming in from Team Flash. We thought they will not be the ones. They were holding off in a very small compound. Jans has even spotted damage being done with a flash freeze. Mink will call it out and he's ready for the CQC, leaving his teammate for survival. Steps out and right to the landmine. What a bait coming through from Mink. And that is a booyah for Team Flash. We spoke about every other team from Group A to find the last booyah for themselves. But Team Flash said, you've not spoken about us and we are going to get ourselves a second booyah for the day and end our run for week 1.
Yeah, we don't talk about you, Flash, because you're not as consistent, man. What? But jokes aside, what a game from Flash. And it was not an easy one at all. I did point out that they had the most advantage in terms of the position that they were holding in the circle when we still had 7 teams alive towards the final zone. But when the